Hello, my name is Vitos, and today I will show a tutorial from Microsoft.com how to create a web API with ASP.NET Core. So we need the Visual Studio, and from the file we select New and Project. The project is ASP.NET Core Web Application. We have it here from the recent project templates, but I'm going to select it here. ASP.NET Core Web Application. This one, click Next. Project name would be Web API or To-Do API. To-Do API is better. Solution name, okay, it's automatic. Then click Create. Wait a bit. And select .NET Core, the latest ASP.NET API. Configure HTTPS. No Docker support and no authentication this time. Click on Create and wait a bit until it creates itself. Depending on how fast your computer is. So this is what we come up with. We get program, class startup, some controllers, and some dependencies already, and some properties. Yep. So if we run the project now, we need to get two values. The two values that are actually here, value 1 and value 2. And somehow I get 64 errors, which shouldn't happen. Okay, now the errors are away. And if we wait a bit, we will get the APIs. Waiting a bit more. Okay, this is how it looks like at the beginning. From the value controller, this is what we got, the value 1 and value 2. And also we get the get API values. The get API values by ID. The post values pretty much created a new one. The ID, put value, and the delete value. Yes. So let's start by adding a new model class. So we need a new folder, models. This is how we do it, new folder, and we name it models. In the models folder, we click Ctrl Shift and A to build a new class, and the new class is named To-Do item. This To-Do item would have three properties. Property 1 would be long ID. Property 2 would be string name. And property 3 would be bool is complete. So far so good. Next, we need to add a database context. So where to add the database context in the models class, add new item class, and we call it To-Do context. Pretty much this is, instead of our database, this would be our fuzzy database folder. This To-Do context would be inheriting from the DB context. It doesn't know what is a DB context, so we click Control and dot, and we're going to select using Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Then we need to create our constructor, and our constructor for the To-Do context would be actually inheriting from the base, from the DB context, and it would also have some parameters. The parameters are DB context options, and in the options it would be To-Do context, and the base would be options. of course here would be also this beautiful word options. Yes. The constructor is empty, and also we need to add the DB set to do item. It is to do items. So this is the type of those items that are going to be used once we start putting stuff in our to-do list. So now we have to register the DB context, the database context. This is done in the startup class. So going to the startup class and going to configure services. Configure services, this is what we need. Delete and start writing. So pretty much services dot add DB context, and in the add DB context we have type to do context, and here we need this link wise thing. Pretty much this is saying that whenever we ask for the to do context, this is what we are going to execute. Use in memory database named to do list. It doesn't like a lot of stuff. But yeah, we will fix it later. Services dot add MVC, set compatibility version, and it would be compatibility version dot latest. Let's see what it doesn't like. Control and dot, using Microsoft Entity Framework Core, great. Control and dot, using to do AP dot models, yes. It realized that in the to do AP models we have our to do context. So far so good, everything good, looks okay. Now we have to add our controller. So selecting the controllers folder, clicking add and then new item, and it will be called API controller class. The name would be to do controller, and wait a bit until it generates. So I am simply going to take this beautiful code and delete it and start pretty much from a bit of scratch. Yeah, just a bit. So we need to name that this is an explicitly API controller, and we need to refer to the quasi database, which is not database, but this we are treating this context as if it was a database. So to do context, of course, we have to add the to do API models. Okay. So start our controller building. It's called to do controller, and type getting the context. And what should it do? Pretty much it would say, hey, my context is what you are giving me. And now if the context that you have given me is actually an empty one, or with other words, it has like 0 elements, then show some elements place. Context, yes, to do item dot add, and let's say new to do item, and it would be, the name would be learn VBA. Yeah, learn VBA is a great task. Yeah. And of course underscore context dot save changes. This thing underscore dot this save changes context save changes line probably one of the reasons why if we don't save it, it wouldn't work, and it's really one of the reasons why sometimes working with the entity framework, we forgot this line and we have somehow problems. So let's continue adding the get methods to our to-do controller class. The first one would be just a general get method in the controller class. Okay, so we have to specify that it's a get http get, and this is the idea of our get method would be task action result enumerable to do item, and it would be named get to do items. Yes, I mean the idea of this method would be exactly to get all the to do items that are given and to display them. So this is how it displays them. Dot to list async. Okay. What it doesn't like, a get assessor is expected. Yes. Get to do items, of course. Sometimes we forgot stuff. To list async control and dot, and we say using Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Wow, it works, and it is also quite good idea in our documentation and in our code to write how we access the corresponding API. So this one we jump simply to the website /API/to-do, and we see this beautiful part. Okay, so let's continue with the second one. If we want to specify, let's say, a specific one, let's say the third one, we say okay, we go to get to API to do 3 and we get it. So it is HTTP get, another one, but this one is explicitly only for the third one, and the previous one would have given us all the to-do items. So this one gives all the to-do items, this one should give only the one that is explicitly given, like this, the third one. So it is pretty much public async task action result. Action result is beautifully written. To do item, and now get to do item. As you see, like here we're in singular, here we're in plural, and of course we pass the long ID, which is the one here. And we say okay, let's see, var to do item equals await our beloved context to do items dot find async and ID. So pretty much we go in the context and it finds the one under the ID. Of course we can make one if to do item is new. Let's say we pass number 5 but we don't have 5. Then we should throw something like not found. Else, or not else, actually this is depending on you. Return to do item. I mean, we can remove the else and simply write it like this. It's pretty much the same. And of course to do item doesn't have parentheses. So pretty much these two methods have given us 2 endpoints. This is the first one and this is the second one. Yes. Now we have to root a bit the URL paths. So they already rooted here, so just knows that it's going to go to the to-do controller. So quite clever. And let's continue with the HTTP GET, which would be a bit different. The idea of the HTTP POST, which would be a bit different, but not that different. Let's see. POST would be like this: API to do, and we have HTTP POST. So pretty much the idea of the post would be to write some stuff. So it's the create, the C of the CRUD, CRUD, action result, to do items. And it would be named post to do item, type to do item. Okay, pretty much looks okay. Control and space, clicking here, just to do item is written with big ones here. Post to do item, probably not happy that it is not returning lacks a weight. Of course it lacks a weight, it lacks a lot of things. So let's add the things it is not happy with. To do items dot add item, and we say await context dot save changes async. And of course let's have a return created in action, and we need to use name of. Name of actually is a reflection, and we say okay, new ID is item.id, and of course item. So let us check the three endpoints for our API. We click on the F5 or the IIS Express, and what we get here is of course value 1, value 2, because we go to this one. But if we use our beloved tool called Postman, actually we may decide to go for ourselves and check the stuff. Okay, so what is important in Postman is the name of the port. So make sure that it's always the same name of port. Okay, 44387. So API/to-do. We click send, and what did we receive? We receive our first ID, first to-do task, which is learn VBA. If we go here and we try the second endpoint, it would be the same because it's the first one. So now we'll try to work with the post one and to create a new one. So we go to post, go to body, row, and JSON, application JSON. And here we write, okay, learn C#. I'll write this time learn C++ is complete, false. Send. Let's say learn JavaScript or learn Python. Learn Python is complete, false. Learn JavaScript is complete, false. So if we go to the headers, we get a 404, and the reason for this is that we are on the wrong address. I mean, it should be like this. So learn JavaScript, and we get on the correct location here. So let's see what else did we have. Learn C++, quite okay. 201, 3. Learn C#, send, and learn what else? Python. If I didn't write it, I don't remember now. Now we can go on get, and we can try our stuff. So going to the body, this is what we get: learn VBA, learn JavaScript, learn C++, learn C#, learn Python. And if we want only to display the third one, learn C++, we go to the get, to the tree, press send. Well, and it works quite nice. Let's add a new item called put. It won't allow us to work on Visual Studio while it's running the server, which kind of makes sense. So stop the server and add a put. In the CRUD, create, read, update, delete, put is the update part. So we'll say that the put should be like this, API to do tree. So whenever we need to put something, we would refer by ID and we would update it there, HTTP put. And of course, referring by ID looks like this. Yep, only with curly parentheses in the middle. And let's start for the public async task iAction result put to do item, and let's say long ID to do item. Okay, great. So if ID is different than item.id, we will return a bad request. Bad request is okay, it has like 13 types to override it. Quite okay. Object error. No, I will just use this one. And now the update part, so context.entry item dot state equals entity state modified. We inform the entity state that it is modified, and then we say await because it is async, of course. Context.save changes async. And we return no content. So pretty much we would not return information that it has been updated. So let's run again our build-oft API. It looks like this. 44387 is the key port that we should use. Value 1 and value 2 are the one that we are using because by default it opens values controller. So we go back to our Postman, and in Postman we say, hey, what happens Postman? Does it happen at all something? Oh, we have the learn VBA thing, great. So back to the post, I'm just going to post one more so we can update it. The post happens like this. Body, learn Python, works okay. I'll learn Python, okay, and we'll learn C++, okay, and learn C#. It would be good if I'm seeing the headers. Okay, now going to get to do body. Yeah, okay, we have 4. So what are we going to do is to edit the third one from read C++ to read C. I remove the ++ signs in the put thing. So say okay, put. It would be 3. So in the 3 one, we'll go to body, and it would look like, okay, I'll learn C# for advanced. I would write so it is visible. Going to send headers 400. That's bad, but the reason is that it didn't like the fact that we didn't also put the ID. So ID would be 3. Let's try again. Okay, that's 204. That's rather okay. Body nothing. But if we go to the get and we go try to get the one with the 3 it is, learn C# for advanced, and also try to get everything. Well, it works like a kind of a charm. And now we need the delete method. So in order to add the delete method, I'll stop the server again and add the delete API to do 3, and it will be HTTP delete. Public async task I action result delete to do item accepting long ID. So pretty much we'll copy from this one, from the get, just to see, because it would work. About to do item, okay, get this one. If it is no, return the not found. Then it would be a bit different. Instead of returning, we would be deleting. So it would be like context dot to do item remove to do item, and of course we need to save changes. And return no content is okay. Everything works, looks okay. So let's try it again. Also this delete method, wait a bit, and is postman ready anytime? Let's check. Yeah, okay, the first one is ready. I'll start posting stuff. Okay, ID should not be mentioned because the post doesn't need an ID. And I'll write C# for advanced, yes, to do learn VBA for advanced. Okay, so if we go to the get, we'll do and run it, we get again the 3 ones. Now we're going to delete the second ID. So we go to delete, send headers 204, okay. So going to get, ask to see all of them, go to the body, and this is it. We had the ID 1 and the ID 3, but we do not have the ID 2. So this is how the API get, post, put and delete work. So far so good. Let's make it a bit better, a bit beautiful, with some jQuery, with some CSS, with some HTML. I mean, I'm pretty much copying and pasting from stuff based on these APIs, but I hope it would work. So let's hope we would manage. So code the API with jQuery. This is the next thing to do. We go to the startup CS, and in the startup CS we stop, of course, the server, and we'll start writing app use default files. In order to use the default files, and use static files. Looks okay. Yep. So we need a www root folder. Yeah, and we need to add a file named index.html. So I'll go here, new. I'll go to web content HTML files, and we'll call it index HTML. So we already have some stuff. I'll copy and paste the HTML file. You may get the content in GitHub later and copy and paste yourself. So what did we just write? It's a to-do CRUD. We have a lot of CSS. Not a lot, okay, like some CSS. This is how the CSS looks like when we ignore it. Then we have the body, form action method post, add item. So whenever we go to the method, we call the add item, and this add item would go to the to-do controller, add item here, the post one. No, actually, it is just named add item, but it wouldn't. It would go to. It's a good thing. Add item. What is exactly? Add item. Yeah. Okay. On submit, add item. Add item should be in the JavaScript, and from the JavaScript it would call the controller. So add a JavaScript file, site.js as well. New item. Scripts, JavaScript, and it will be called site.js. Yeah. So this is how the site.js looks like. And here we should add the add item thing. Function get count, function get data. This is the add item. Okay, these are the functions. And each of these functions would be calling the API. So for example, add item here. This one gets the item with Ajax type post, and yeah, kind of knows already how to work with the to-do controller, which is post to-do item. Yeah. Kind of knows what is going on. Quite okay, actually. Delete item does the same. Type delete, function result, and calls the next get data to display. We have the edit item calling the update, the put. Then we have the my form on submit, some magics happening, and the close input. Okay. It's a great idea to change also the starting project, so we don't use the values controller and this useless value 1, value 2, but we would go always to the to-do controller. So we go to properties, and in the properties we go to launch settings JSON. I'll save everything and close over to this. So there we'll kind of remove the launch URL property, and once the launch URL property is removed, then it would be forced to open the index one, the index HTML. I'll do it for both profiles, for the IIS Express and for the to-do API, although I can do it only for the one I'm using, but kind of okay. And at the end we have to get the list of the to-do items. So the list of the to-do items will be there. Let's see. Let's see how would it work. Would it work at all? Would it work good? Would it work bad? So this is what we get. So far, waiting. Would it the HTML display itself? Okay, to do CRUD. So we add a new to do. Okay, now it realized our first one, learn VBA. Adding a new to do would be first one, learn C Sharp. By default, it is not complete, of course. Then we would have, okay, walk the dog. That's a tribute for my ex-dog. I used to have a nice dog. What else? Install Linux. And now again, let's say, learn German, because it's a nice language probably. Let's edit walk the dog and put it ready. Yep, works, it looks okay. And let's edit learn German and put it ready. The funny part is that if we go to Postman and, for example, get the to-dos, we'll see exactly the funny to-dos that we have already installed. So our interface works quite okay. If we go here, for example, in input, let's say, learn C# to something better, put ID, it was 2. Let's say learn VBA for advanced is what I'm going to write. So it's on the second one is complete true because I have run VBA for advanced. Let's see, headers 404. Didn't like something, definitely bad string. Okay. Yeah, it was like this. Let's see further. Yes. So if we go here and we refresh, then we'll have learn VBA for advanced. And if we have edit from here, learn VBAs from advanced today, save, and go here, for example, and we get the other to-dos. And see the body, it would be learn VBA for advanced today. Okay, so pretty much this is it. Thank you for staying with me. I'm really happy that I managed to show the get, put, delete, and post APIs, REST API things on Postman. And yeah, you can subscribe and you can like my YouTube video if you want to. If you don't want, don't do it. Yeah, and enjoy your day. Have fun. Thank you.